Coming up on the bench, Syracuse football made its way back into the Dome for a Saturday contest with the Boston College Eagles. Both teams put their offenses on do not disturb for the entire first half, but someone needs to wake up at some point, right? Well, the Orange eventually did, and with number 34.
How about hoops getting underway? SU men's basketball just wrapped up a pair of exhibition games in the Dome and is ready to tackle a stacked regular season. How the newcomers and familiar faces play over the past week, and what's in store to open Jim Boeheim's 46th year at the helm.
Plus, Syracuse field hockey has become a force to reckon with in the Atlantic Coast Conference. The Orange look to finish the regular season strong against Louisville and Cornell, and our own Nick Luttrell sat down with midfielder Claire Cook ahead of tournament play. On the Bench is here, and it all starts right now. On the Bench is back on your television set and jam-packed for 30 minutes. Nick Zelaya here with Cameron Ezeir. And Cam, obviously Halloween was this past weekend. I know you're a creative guy. Did you pull out any funny costumes or anything? What was the look this weekend?
So I was thinking, do you go funny, do you go spooky? We have to think of one or the other, but I just went kind of normal. Didn't do the jersey look like I usually do. Went pilot. That's something new for me.
That's fine. I like that. I mean, I dressed up as Mickey Mouse for crying out loud.
Hey, there you go.
I wasn't scary at all. But one, you could have said Sean Tucker is a scary costume for a lot of defenses because he's been scaring the living daylight out of defenses all season, and he did it again this past weekend against Boston College, rushing for 207 yards and a score. But what's more impressive, Tucker is now third all-time in Syracuse single-season rushing yards, sitting at 1,267, trailing just Joe Morris and Walter Reyes. And while he's put up triple digits on the ground in 7 straight games, Tucker was ranked 11th on this list coming into Saturday. Those 200-plus yards put him ahead of names like Floyd Little and Larry Sonka, and he can maybe break a 42-year-old record this weekend.
Nick, with records, of course, comes accolades, and not just in Central New York, but across the nation. Sean Tucker was named one of the 15 semifinalists for the Maxwell Award, which recognizes the most outstanding player in all of college football. He leads the country in rush yards, all-purpose yards, and wait for it, all-purpose yards per game. Oh, and another thing to mention, the last 7 Maxwell Award winners, guess what, Nick? They've hoisted the Heisman Trophy. How about that? Safe to say Tucker's pleased with landing on that list.
I would say the Heisman Trophy is a good thing for a player, a good thing. And there was another opportunity on Saturday for Tucker to be pleased with a performance. Safe to say every Syracuse football fan was happy with the way Tucker and the team played against Boston College. 2 ACC teams looking to find some late season momentum. Let's check out all the action. Boston College and Syracuse, 2 teams fighting to finish not in last place in the Atlantic Division of the ACC. And to start things off, it was ugly and uglier. Garrett Schrader with the incomplete pass. Later on in the quarter, Garrett Schrader trying to connect with Sherrod Johnson, throws it nowhere near 19, and it's picked off. This was the second time all season Syracuse have been shut out in the first half, going back to week 2 against Rutgers. But wait, Cam, there's that yellow laundry on the ground. That means free yards. So Syracuse, few yards to score, but they fumble the ball. Vinny DePalma scoops it up for BC and returns it to the 38-yard line. BC wouldn't score on that drive, but fast forward to the second quarter. Give me some points, Cam. Finally, Connor Litton knocks in the field goal, and that would be the score going into the break. Kids, I'm sorry if you took the over on this one. Second half action, Stephon Thompson brings down Dennis Grissel, one of 5 sacks on the day for Syracuse. Connor Litton, the scoring machine, 6-0 BC now. And it was only a matter of time until Sean Tucker had it his way. 51 yards untouched into the end zone. That put the Orange on top 7-6, his 11th rushing touchdown of the season. And when 34 isn't rushing the ball, it's usually 16. Garrett Schrader, 48 yards, breaking a couple tackles and exploding to the house. 48 yards for the touchdown, making a 2-possession game, 14-6 Syracuse. BC 3-and-out in the next drive. They punt to Courtney Jackson from the 36-yard line of Syracuse. He's gone. Cam Jackson looks like the Chick-fil-A employee when they forget my side of fries and I start driving away to head home. Syracuse is celebrating. They're excited. 21 answered. I'm sorry, Baldwin. Take a deep breath. There you go. And the icing on the cake, Sean Tucker, an 11-yard rush to hit that 200-plus mark, and that would be all. Syracuse goes above 500 once again. Noah Searson was in the Dome and had the entire action on recap.
Syracuse entered the locker room at half on Saturday in desperate need of some offense after they were blanked in the first half and had some really ugly, brutal sequences. But then they regrouped, came out in the second half, and ripped off 21 unanswered in the span of under 5 minutes to take down Boston College by a score of 21-6. And it was those adjustments at half that Coach Baber said won them the game in this one.
But we had guys playing different positions, and then they were doing some things they had not done before. So we're making sideline adjustments instead of stuff that was done in practice. But you talk about halftime adjustments. Okay, from the first and second quarter to the third quarter, there were some guys, there were some players, and there were some coaches making some adjustments, and I'm doggone glad they did.
As always, man, I owe everything out to my teammates. You know, the backhand discovering, that's why we can get there and get the sacks. You know, so everybody's doing their 1-11, and it gives me time and chance to make plays. You know, so. As always, if everybody comes to play, we're going to be good.
A big reason why the offense was able to bounce back in that second half, you guessed it, Sean Tucker was a monster once again. He breaks the program record for 100-yard games in a year in this one, 8 on the season, and he gets a much-deserved week off next week. No game next weekend for Syracuse. They're on bye. Next matchup at Louisville on November 13th. Reporting from the Dome, I'm Noah Searson, CitrusTV.
Noah, thanks so much. A big win for Syracuse football, but guess what? For the first time this year, I can finally say it. We're going to the hardwood. Syracuse men's basketball finally got its season underway. Well, sort of, as the Orange hosted a pair of exhibition games in the Dome before the actual season starts next Tuesday against Lafayette. And to start things off, it was against the Pace Setters. No, not like the volleyball Setters, the basketball Setters. But Pace, no match for Syracuse. And why? It's the newcomers. Cole Swider finished with a game-high 21 points. Give him 70% from distance. Maybe Villanova should have played him more. Betty Williams put on a show to Jimmy Boeheim. Jimmy Boeheim was phenomenal as well. 19 points against Pace. The lob, the jam to Edwards. I mean, this team looked phenomenal against Pace, a 79-60 win, and it got a lot better against Lemoyne because guess who heated up? Joe Girard III and Jimmy Boeheim. Everyone got in on the action. 11 threes in each of the exhibition games for the Syracuse team, living up to the motto that, guess what? If you can play against these teams and you can knock down triples, it's all good news. Syracuse beat Lemoyne 90-50 inside the Dome. So 2-0 in exhibitions, that's a pretty good thing. And if you're Syracuse, that's a lot that you can look forward to. You have Cardiac Cole and Cole Swider. Jimmy Boeheim looks great, and everyone looks great as well. Now looking ahead to the games that will count, it's a non-conference slate that doesn't provide much of a blockade for Syracuse. Now remember, Syracuse did win a 1-point scare in the opener last year against Bryant. That's something to take into consideration. Other than that, the Cuse tip off the season against the Leopards of Lafayette. For the first time in 25 years, Drexel's mainstay is its mascot, Mario the Magnificent. It doesn't get better than that, but it's the Dragons' first ACC opponent in 7 years, and then they cruise all the way to the Bahamas following a game with Colgate. So while I booked my trip to the Bahamas, Nick, because that sounds like a ball, we're going to take a break here on the bench, but when we come back, our field hockey beat reporter Nick Luttrell's in studio. Plus, both Syracuse men's and women's soccer put a cap on their seasons. We'll be back.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it,
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got, or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Welcome back into On the Bench. He's Cameron Ezeir. I'm Nick Zelaya. Kim, have you ever tried playing field hockey, like in PE class or just after school for fun?
We called it floor hockey, and I was the general at it. I think the best in the court.
Really? The general?
Yes.
My back hurt every time I try field hockey.
Oh,
It's
well.
difficult, but the Syracuse field hockey team makes it look really, really easy. They were winners of 9 of their last 10 games heading into the regular season weekend finale at Louisville and home against Cornell. Let's start in Kentucky. A top 10 matchup for SU and Louisville. The Cardinals 16-2 on the season, both losses coming against top-ranked Big Ten opponents. So the Orange looking to find a Louisville loss for the first time in ACC play. And early on in the first period, Louisville with the good ball movement. That finds Philippa Niebuhr wide open in front of the goal. She finds the net, make it 1-0 Cardinals early on. And that'll be the score going into halftime. Louisville, a couple opportunities late, but unable to convert. They did outshoot Syracuse 8-6 in the first half, but 1-0 was the score going into the break. Another penalty corner here. This time, Louisville converts. That's Erica Cooper off the stick and into the goal. 2-0 Syracuse. They're running out of time. They're trying to make something happen, and they do right here. Haley Bitters off the pass from S.J. Quigley. She knocks it in 2-1. We've still got 15 minutes of action, but all the Cardinals do is run out the clock. Syracuse falls 2-1 to Louisville in a top 10 ACC matchup. So one last game for Syracuse in the regular season at home against the Cornell Big Red. Senior Day, 9 seniors celebrating with their family and friends, and this was an exciting one. 1 goal only in the first half, 1-0 going into the break. That was Kieran Coleman's, but the scoring, it happened in the second half. A couple opportunities for Syracuse, but finally Laura Grazioso, she knocks in the goal, make it 2-0 Orange. Later on, off the penalty corner, Yvke van den Nieuwenhof, she finds it back into her net, the 9th goal of the season for the sophomore. And the seniors scored 3 of SU's 6 goals on the day. But let's get the freshmen involved. Olivia Bell, her first career goal with the Orange to make it 4-0. Another penalty corner, this time Van den Nieuwenhof once again. That's 5-0 Orange. Cornell, no answer for the number 9 team in the country. And the icing on the cake, Coleman's once again making it 6-0. Syracuse ends the regular season with a 12-4 record. Our CitrusTV reporter Nick Luttrell got the chance to sit down with midfielder Claire Cook about the team's success and how the Orange became a top 10 team in the nation.
The Syracuse field hockey team has had quite the season. In fact, it was their best regular season since 2016. And joining me to discuss their recent success, SU field hockey midfielder Claire Cook. Claire, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
And we got to talk about this field hockey team. I mean, the success they've had this year is unparalleled. You guys had a 9-game win streak at one time. But let's go back to the start of the season. You guys started off 2-2, lost to Kent State and then Rutgers, but then bounced back, had wins against UConn and Boston College. The Eagles were number 3 at the time. How big was it to get those 2 wins on the road back in September?
Yeah, I mean, UConn and BC, those are 2 big games we've had coming into every season, basically. So BC this year was our first ACC game, and so we knew coming in, like, we need to set the tone for a conference play, and we really just went out there and played to the best of our ability, and since that game, we've just been getting better and better.
Yeah, like you talk about getting better and better. You guys had 9 straight wins at one point, your team's longest win streak since 2015. Simply put, what did you guys do so well to keep winning games during that stretch?
I think, honestly, we didn't even focus on something like a 9-game win streak. I remember someone was interviewing me after, I think it was the Wake Forest game, and they said, this is your 7-game winning streak, and I was like, oh, I had no idea. Like, we were just playing one game at a time and just focusing on how we could improve from each game. And even though we lost our last 2 ACC games, we think like those were 2 tough losses, really close, but we've just been trying to get better and better from each one. No matter if it's a win or a loss, we look at it the same way, just to get better each game.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Claire, you guys have got the ACC Championships coming up right here at home this weekend. How big will that be, having that game at J.S. Coyne Stadium?
Oh gosh, we are so excited. This was supposed to be something that we were supposed to have the ACC tournament here last year, and that kind of got moved with COVID and everything. So we've had this mission statement on our whiteboard in the locker room to be playing for an ACC championship on coin. And we've had that up for the last 2 years because we haven't been on coin. So just to have that goal set and see in our locker room every day, it's just, we're really excited about it. And coming off of last year's ACC tournament was a tough loss for sure. So we're coming in with a lot of excitement, and the fact that it's at home just brings even more energy. And I don't know, we're just really excited that we get to be here and honor the women that came before us on coin, and to really just be the first field hockey team to win AC championship and do it here at home.
I'm sure. Well, for more field hockey news and updates, you can follow myself or CitrusTV Sports on Twitter or Instagram. Fifth-year field hockey midfielder Claire Cook. Claire, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to both Claire and Nick for that. Again, you can follow Nick on Twitter for coverage throughout the ACC tournament. Now, Syracuse men's soccer has been the definition of a roller coaster season, but they had a chance to finish the regular season on a good note. Except the Demon Deacons, they had other plans. Let's head down to Winston-Salem for Syracuse and Wake Forest. It was a windy one. The weather not wanting to cooperate. That's fine, though. We can still play some soccer. Let's not get too chippy, lads, but Omar Hernandez, the tackle on the SU defender early on. Yes, that's a yellow card. Omar trying to plead his case. Not going to happen, though. A 13-minute yellow card to Omar Hernandez, but Wake Forest late in the first half, they would finally capitalize. Babacar Niang, the freshman from Senegal, off the top of the goalpost on the ground into the net, putting the Demon Deacons up 1 goal, his first as a Wake Forest player. And man, this was a difficult chance for Wake Forest. An opportunity to go up 2-0 into the break, but instead no good from Roland Mitchell, and he cannot believe it. He's been one of the best players on Wake Forest all season. So second half action now, Omar Hernandez finding Kyle Holcomb, who breaks away from one SU defender. Here comes another one, whoop! Right by him, strikes it into the goal. 2-0 Wake Forest. They're completely dominating the orange. And Syracuse, the offense just had no shots. 8 saves by Trace Alfine, the goalie from Wake Forest. He had an excellent game, the most saves all season for Alfine, and Wake Forest, they would run out the clock and come out victorious. Their 10th win of the season. Syracuse wraps up the regular season at 8-7-2.
So season closer for the men. Now let's play the same tune on the women's side. Nikki Adams and company are on quite a skid and took that trend into their last game of the regular season. 10 straight losses and without a win since September 5th. But either way, it was go time for an SU group itching for a victory, and its opponent, Virginia Tech, the Hokies, winners of their last 2. Syracuse and Virginia Tech down at SU Soccer Stadium. Guess what? It's senior night for Syracuse, but the Orange 4-11-1 on the season. The Hokies got it going early. Input pass to Tori Powell as the shot was saved by Prue. Prue again off the rebound. 2 of 6 saves in the first half, but that constant pressure, well, it was going to lead to a goal. A 5-hole goal for Emily McCarter, her second goal of the year. Hokies up 1-0 20 minutes in. Now just 15 minutes after that, here's the cross, and this is why Virginia Tech is so good on the flanks. Rolls it past Prue. That's a goal for Sophie Maltese, the forward, her 4th of the year. 2-0 Virginia Tech at the half. Now Syracuse has lost or has been shut out in 7 of their last 9 games in losses. Root, she thinks otherwise. She doesn't want that trend to continue. Megan Root, the captain, the senior, her 4th goal of the season gives Syracuse life. The Orange played much better in the second half. This evident right here. Look at this opportunity, rainbows it, but it's over the net as Syracuse can't get it done in the second half. Again, played well in the second half. Virginia Tech, too good of a first half as the Hokies take it over Syracuse 2-1. And our very own Jesse Cook was there for all the action and has more.
The last match of the season at the SU soccer pitch took place in the frigid late October air. Virginia Tech took the win 2-1, but this game did not come without its fireworks.
We gave up 2 goals in the first half, and we challenged our team in the second half to win the second half and asked them to step up and be a bit more aggressive.
After a series of saves from reliable keeper Lizzie Ann Prue, a goal from Megan Root accentuated the evening, marking a fitting finish mark to her career in the Syracuse kit.
Meg is probably like the hardest working player on our team. And I'm not talking just in games, in practices, in the weight room. If me and her just walking alone, she'll say, I'll race you here. You know, she's super competitive.
This finishes the 2021 stretch for the Orange. So, for the last time, from the SU soccer pitch, I'm Jesse Cook, Citrus TV.
Thanks so much, Jesse. After the break, we'll talk some volleyball. They had a tough weekend, but cross country and rowing absolutely dominating their opponents. On the Bench returns in just a bit.
OTN is on all your favorite apps: Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Search Orange Television Network or OTN. OTN has its best shows, short films, and Citrus TV on demand. Family and friends can watch OTN too. Watch the live stream of OTN to catch live Citrus TV news, live from Studio B, and mornings on the Hill. On or off campus, watch OTN anywhere.
We're back on the bench. Nick Zelaya and my tall anchor, Cameron Ezeir. Speaking of tall, Cam, there's a reason I never played volleyball. Rule number one of spiking in volleyball is getting your arm over the net, and when you're down here, it's a struggle.
And Nick, rule number two, as everyone knows, is leave competitive volleyball to D1 talent. Rule number three, find a way to spend Halloween in the Sunshine State. SU volleyball has struggled in its recent stretch in ACC play. They tried to flip that switch, but it wasn't to be. It was just a thought. Again, that's all it was. And now it's a good thing that Syracuse has a dynamic combo in Marina Markova and Polina Shimanova, especially because Elena Karakazi recorded a career high in assists, but it didn't matter at the end of the day. A 4-set loss to Miami, a 5-set loss to FSU. Syracuse has lost 7 of its last 8 matches, its worst skid since 2016.
And on the other side, cross country. It seems like anytime we're talking about cross country on OTB, it's always for good reasons. The ACC championships were this past weekend, and the Orange showed up in a big way. Starting with the ladies, Amanda Vestry took 3rd overall and placed in the top 3 for a 2nd straight event, and her teammates did pretty well too. All 10 SU runners finished in the top 62, placing the Orange 4th as a team. And for the men, they placed 2nd behind Notre Dame. It was a wide gap between the Orange and Fighting Irish, but the men still proved plenty, led by Joe Dragon, who finished in 8th place with a time just under 24 minutes. Aiden Tooker and JP Trojan both found a spot in the top 15 as well. The Orange will take some time to ice the body and get their carbs in before the NCAA Northeast Regionals in a couple weeks, Cam.
Won't help with carbs, it's fish, which brings me to the best name of an event there is. The Head of the Fish. It's in Saratoga and is home to the Women's Collegiate 8+ race. Let's just say it went swimmingly. That might be an understatement, as all 3 varsity 8 squads finished in the top 5. The junior coxswain stepped up with a 1st place finish for Hannah Murray's boat and a 2nd place spot for Louise Rath, both under 11 minutes, which is less time than it took me to learn how to say the word coxswain properly. It's good, I got it. And have to give props to the freshman Grimes, who led her boat to 5th. Now, riding a tide to the finish here on the Bench, you know what's next? Performers of the Week on the other side, but there's a 44% chance that Nick and I are switching things up back in 90.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Ay, yo, let's crawl. Boom. Ay, yo, let's crawl. Boom. Ay, let's crawl. Ay, yo, let's crawl. Boom.
What are you, superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
Finishing up on the bench here in the Citrus TV studios, Nick Zelaya, Cameron Ezeir, and closing things out the way we always do with the Performers of the Week. But we've got a little change this week. It's a Performer of the Week, singular, one athlete, and they've probably already guessed it, Cam.
You know it has to be one name. Number 34, that's Sean Tucker. He's probably already tired from Saturday's takeover. I bet he's still getting ice on the sideline or even back in his apartment. Nick, he watched Michigan State's Kenneth Walker III take the leading rusher spot earlier that day and said, hold my drink. A career-high 207 yards on the ground and added a touchdown for good measure. He was spectacular.
And I think the big thing that stands out to me is 8 yards per carry. He's not picking up 1 or 2 yard pickups. It's big runs he's doing. He's able to explode out of the offensive line and make a big run. Tucker's so good. It's really how consistent he is. 800-yard rushing games in only 9 contests, plus 7 consecutive to this point. And look which teams he's doing it against. Florida State, Wake Forest, Clemson, Boston College. The only thing stopping Tucker is the upcoming bye week.
And that's what Syracuse has to deal with against Louisville, the week before taking on Louisville. You look at your screen, Tucker moves into 3rd all time, putting up ridiculous numbers, but he's breaking Syracuse records while he's at it. Jim Morris doesn't even have a picture in color. How about that? Tucker is just 105 yards away from breaking a record that's been held since 1979. He's also leading all of college football in rushing yards ahead of the aforementioned Michigan State's Kenneth Walker III by 73 yards. I think most of us knew Tucker would have a good season, but the second-year freshman is doing something most of Orange Nation have never seen before, Nick.
It's the scary part is that it's not like Tucker has 1 game left where he needs to rush for 105 yards to break the record. There's a whole month of football left. 3 games, you've got the bye this week, gives him some time to rest up, and then full power through Thanksgiving, eat that turkey and break the record in Pittsburgh.
And Nick, he needs that rest. He really does. If you saw him on the bench, he was rolled over, ready to take 2 naps, maybe 3, but he's been phenomenal, and he's been the mainstay of this Syracuse football team.
Anyways, that will wrap up on the bench. He's Cameron Ezeir. I'm Nick Zelaya. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Citrus TV Sports, and we'll leave you with one good thing, our images of the week, aka a Sean Tucker mixtape.
How about that?
Let's do it.
You start to run out of superlatives with the season he's had.
The second-year freshman has pleased Syracuse fans all season long with his performance.
Should Sean Tucker wear the number 44? If Tucker continues on this path, it's certainly worth a discussion at the very least in the offseason.
Sean Tucker is absolutely the most valuable player to a team in college football.
The only response to that question is to strike a quick little pose.
Bye-bye, 30, 20, 10, Tucker haters.
Tucker behind Schrader. He gets the call. Tucker is dangerous. There he goes. Sean Tucker to the crib. House call for the Cuse.
Schrader with the snap. Hand off Tucker. He has an opening. There's no one there. It's a house call for Sean Tucker.
Schrader.
From Tucker. Sean Tucker.